I wanted to discuss briefly online voter registration in the state of California. Elections Code Division 2, Chapter 2.5 actually provides online voter registration standards here in the state of California. Elections Code Section 2196 provides that a person who is qualified to register to vote and who has a valid California driver's license or state identification card may submit an affidavit of voter registration electronically on the internet website of the California Secretary of State. An affidavit submitted is effective upon receipt of the affidavit by the Secretary of State, so long as the affidavit is received on or before the last day to register for an election to be held in the precinct of the person who submits that affidavit of voter registration. Now, for voter reg purposes, the applicant is required to affirmatively assent to the use of his or her signature from his or her driver's license or state identification card. And the Secretary of State is required to have a person who submits an affidavit to submit the number from his or her driver's license or state ID card, his or her date of birth, the last four digits of his or her social security number, and any other information that the Secretary of State deems necessary to establish the true identity of the person filing the affidavit. The electronic voter registration system must provide for the immediate verification of that applicant that he or she has a California's driver's license or state identification card, and that the number for the driver's license or ID card provided by the applicant in fact matches the number for the driver's license or ID card that's on file with the California Department of Motor Vehicles. They also have to verify that the date of birth provided by the applicant matches the date of birth for that person that is currently on file with the DMV. Then the Secretary of State is required to employ security measures to ensure the accuracy and integrity of those affidavits of voter registration that are submitted electronically under this section of the Elections Code to the Secretary of State's office. The DMV and the SOS, Secretary of State, are required to maintain a process and infrastructure to allow electronic copies of the applicant's signature and other required information that is in the possession of the DMV to be safely and securely transferred to the Secretary of State and to the county's electronic management system amongst all the 58 counties in order to allow a person who's qualified to register to vote in the state of California to actually register to vote under this section of the Elections Code. Also, Section 2197 of the Elections Code requires the California Health Benefit Exchange to implement a process as well as the infrastructure to allow a person who applies online with the exchange for services or assistance to submit online an affidavit of voter registration electronically on the Secretary of State's webpage. And then the last section is Section 2198 of the California Elections Code that requires an internet website to be maintained by the state to include a hyperlink to the site's homepage to the online voter registration page of the internet website of the Secretary of State.